It started in Bloomington with Metropolitan Stadium. When the Twins came to Minnesota, the people got a glimpse of what it looked like in all its major league grandeur.
My interest started when I was about 10 years old, and I'd go out and look at Dick Erickson's finely manicured lawn down at the Met Stadium. I couldn't believe it. It was like going to Munchkinland, and things turned to Technicolor overnight. The field was amazing.
What Mueller did not know was that this state was peppered with ballparks that soothed the soul. See, the baseball community had come to expect these treasures. When he got a look, he gave it a different perspective. So in some respects, you think kind of the outsider's perspective that you had compared to those of us that have been so ingrained in it?
I think so. I think sometimes when it's around you all the time, you kind of take it for granted. But when you're looking from the outside in, you go, oh my gosh, this is a story that needs to be told.
Through that inspiration came an idea. What if he put a book together bringing amateur ballparks to life? What has been established over the years is a love affair between Minnesota and amateur baseball. The people enjoy a gathering throughout the state where they can pay tribute to their pastime. They've been doing this for years, with a big boom after the boys came home from World War II and before the Twins came to town. The town team and the places they play had become pure pride.
There are ladies that have been working concessions for 20, 30, 40 years and took great pride in it. And I think those are the two words, passion and pride.
With that in mind, Mueller started his research to try and identify not just the best playing surfaces, but the most unique the state has to offer.
I went out in all times of the year. I went out in the spring, I went out in the summer, I went out in the fall. And regardless of the time of the year, just driving up to a ballpark, you had a sense of something special.
What he found was not just the venues that they play in, but the people who maintain them take a special spot in the lineup card. The groundskeepers make sure they are not just a surface, they're a piece of natural art. They manicure with a goal. Make it a special experience to play on, the way it's been for years.
What amazes me, Mike, is that these are living, breathing organisms. These ballparks need tender, loving care all the time. Within weeks, if they don't have it, they start turning. And these guys, the caretakers that have taken such great care of these fields, are to be commended for their years of service, decades of service. For many of them, this is what they did. They didn't golf, they didn't go to the cabin.
For Mueller, the challenge was finding a way to capture the masterpieces and do them justice.
What came out of that was how special these ballparks were. You question whether or not photography will show these ballparks in the best light, and the answer is we were able to do that. We used professional photographers throughout. We used aerial bucket trucks, usually from the volunteer fire department, to get up and get some special angles that people hadn't ever seen that ballpark in. We had over 20,000 images, and we culled it down to 500 photos in the book.
It became a mission filled with passion. Once you see what it's like to be at the yard, it becomes a bit addicting. So what is it you love about being down at the ballpark?
In my opinion, it's just unbelievable down here. It's quiet, it's relaxing. There's no bad seats.
Once that becomes a part of you, you look at these facilities differently. They are tributes to the town, the game, the people that play here, and the people that came before them.
In a lot of communities, it started in the 1800s, and it goes all the way through the 1950s and 60s. There were 700 teams at one point, at the highest point in amateur baseball.
As they piloted through the state, marrying modern technology with the history of the grand old game, they knew they were onto something because they began to understand how much it all means. When you come out to a ballpark like this on a soft, lazy day like this, is it therapeutic for you as a fan?
Absolutely, absolutely. And especially with the breeze going, the music going. We just heard Journey. It doesn't get any better than this on a beautiful summer day. It's just absolutely gorgeous to look out over this field and watch a ball game.
And in that, they knew they had a market for a book that would chronicle and pay tribute to it. A business venture, yes, but a chance to give back and put on a coffee table an opportunity for parents and grandparents and visitors to the state to see what this whole thing is about, where amateur baseball meets Norman Rockwell.
Our first ballpark we shot was here at Chaska, and we came away with photos, and the question was, could my excitement generate into a book? And after looking at photography, the answer was yes.
Realizing the definition of a great ballpark had some variables and interpretation, but now he was able to understand a slice of Americana when he laid eyes on it.
A great ballpark can be defined in so many different ways. For me, it had to do with the history. How long had that area been a ballpark? How old was the grandstand? Is the field asymmetrical? That is, what kind of things do they have to work around, whether it's lakes, rivers, streets?
And in the state of Minnesota, baseball people who come through here will tell you, these are indeed a cut above anywhere in the country, and that means much.
What is it people, if you haven't visited Minnesota baseball parks in general, what is it they don't know?
Well, you remember Dale McReynolds,
Yeah.
scout for the Dodgers? He traveled the country, and actually a guy called me and said, do you remember in '88 Dale McReynolds wrote an article in the state tournament? So I looked it up, and Todd, I think, maybe referred to that in his book. But Mac would say, there's no question, I've been all over the nation. Minnesota has the finest amateur parks, and it's, in my opinion, because of amateur baseball.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.